of the cool things about this book, and I've mentioned it before, is how the book plays with the words and how the words contrast or go along with what Anne is saying or doing. And so at in the middle of this chapter, Marilla was like, "Oh, Anne, you've stopped using so many big words." And then the text of the book itself, describing the springtime, just pours the big words out by the dozen, by the bushelful. So it just dumps all of these big words out at you. And, that's kind of cool. I used to use a lot more big words than I do now. Um, some of it is because I've slowed down over the years, not quite as bright as I used to be. Some of it was learning that if you use words that people don't know, they start to feel uncomfortable with it and it can be confusing. Now, another thing, another thing. They talked about writing and editing is the worst part of writing, but it's the most important part of writing, where you go over something and you look for all of your mistakes, and believe me, I make lots of them. And you look for your mistakes and you fix them. And then you look through it again and again and again. And at a point, you just start making things worse, and that's when you have to put it down and walk away. Also, it helps putting it down and walking away because it's very easy to get blinded to a mistake that your eyes just go over, where you think you see a word, you think you wrote a word, but you didn't actually write that. That one's bit me a number of times, where it's like I see it, and if I read it out loud, I still read what I thought I put and not what's actually there. So that's something to watch out for. And one of the things was short and concise. There's there are style differences, and this is something when it comes to design, when it comes to art, when it comes to movies, when it comes to any sort of creative endeavor. There is the more is more school, and then there is the less is more school. So the more is more school is what Anne was like when she was younger, and she was putting all of the big flowery words in and making it as elaborate and as complex as she possibly could. And there's a time and a place for that. And then there's the less is more school, where it's you try and get everything down as tight and as terse and as sharp as you can. Um, there's it's let's see, what was that? It's not done until some people say it's not done until there's nothing left to add. Other people say it's not done until there's nothing left to take away. Where if you just go and you cut out words and cut out words and shorten things and make them more direct, um, because a lot of the extra words are things that aren't really needed. Where you say probably, appears, seems to. These are words that soften what you're saying. And unless you're intentionally softening, there's no reason for them. Just cut it out. Something I need to learn to do because I have a tendency as well to over soften things. And there are times where I need to be more direct. So these are important writing lessons. And still not good at geometry, which is kind of sad. But it's there's worse things. I mean, the one person who isn't good at arithmetic, that's kind of painful. One of the things in school, one of the things in school that I'll never forget, I've probably mentioned this before, was in fourth grade. We had, I think it was fourth grade. Every morning we came in, we had a ditto for math. And it was like, do the math on the ditto. Now, dittos were purple sheets that were duplicated, and the ink was purple. And anyway, so everyone got this sheet of problems. And before we actually went and learned anything, we did a solid page of math, adding together two 12-digit numbers, multiplying 6-digit numbers, long division, square roots, anything that we had covered, we did this. And the thing is that because we were doing this every morning, 5-10 minutes of just doing this math, we got good at it. And it's like everybody picked it up and everyone was just blazing through this without calculators, because we didn't have calculators. We weren't allowed calculators. And it was, you do the math. And it just became second nature, where you could just go, okay, 7, 2, 3, you just write it out without thinking about it, without looking at it. And because I haven't been doing this, math regularly, it's a skill I've lost. The mind is like a muscle. You have to exercise it. So, exercise the muscle of your mind. Repetition. It kind of sucks, but it gets easier. It gets easier the more you do. And so that is, you rise to the challenge.